I was debating who to cover next on Bell to Bell, and I ultimately settled on Luke Harper for a couple of reasons. The first is because of the comments you guys have been leaving, which I appreciate. I also realized if I was ever going to talk about Luke Harper, now was the best time. So put on your crazy eyes, and let's take a look back at the Backwoods Brawler's WWE career. Before Luke Harper was, well, Luke Harper, he was a guy from Rochester, New York, named Jonathan Huber. At the start of his career, Harper wrestled inside of a martial arts studio in front of his friends and family. As time moved on, he continued to train and get better, which led to bigger opportunities. By the late 2000s, Luke Harper was wrestling for companies such as Jakara, Dragon Gate USA, and Ring of Honor. While things were going well, Harper's career took a huge step forward when he got offered a contract with WWE in 2012. He was sent down to developmental and began his training for the main roster. The same year he joined WWE, Harper would also have his debut match in the company. The November 7th, 2012 episode of NXT would mark the official start of the WWE career of Luke Harper. After returning from a commercial break, Kurt Angle's kayfabe son, Jason Jordan, was in the ring, ready for a match. Next came someone who would be synonymous with Luke Harper's WWE career, Bray Wyatt. The future Fiend rambled for a bit on the mic, until Jason Jordan cut him off and told Wyatt he was here to fight. The new face of fear responded by giving Jordan just that, and without any warning, Luke Harper entered the shot and marched towards the ring. Harper, who hadn't been given a name yet, immediately charged at Jason Jordan, and the contest began. The Backwoods Brawler struggled at first with Jordan's speed, but obtained control after preventing a drop toe hold. Living up to his nickname, Luke Harper attacked his opponent with punches, chops, and uppercuts. To show how vicious he was, Harper also pulled and raked the eyes of the future American Alpha member. Luke Harper got a bit more polished with his offense when he hit a discus clothesline, a move that had become a signature of his. When that didn't work, Jason Jordan attempted to change the tide of the match, but all that did was set him up for a sit-out spinning side slam for the 3 count. After the bell had run, Bray Wyatt revealed Harper's name and that he was the first son of the Wyatt family. Honestly, I think this was a pretty good debut. I like that Luke Harper immediately had a backstory, and being a part of the Wyatt family gave him some character. I thought the match itself made him look like a strong force, especially since Jason Jordan wasn't some no-name jobber. Honestly, not a bad debut, and even going back now, I still want to know more about his character and see what happens next, so let's do that. Soon after making his debut, Harper would be joined by Eric Rowan, turning the Wyatt family into a trio. Like many dominant tag teams, they'd become NXT Tag Team Champions in May of 2013. Around that same time, promos began airing on Raw and SmackDown that the Wyatt family was coming to the main roster. Luke Harper, along with Rowan and Wyatt, would make their Raw debut in July and began feuding with Kane. During his first year on the main roster, Harper mostly tagged with Eric Rowan, and the two had remained undefeated until October of 2013. In 2014, the two Wyatt family members would challenge the WWE Tag Team Champions, the Usos, to a handful of unsuccessful title matches. That same year, both Harper and Rowan would break away from Bray Wyatt and became singles competitors. Things seemed promising for Luke Harper when he won the Intercontinental Championship in November, but before the year was even over, he had already lost it. 2015 didn't start off much better for Harper. He competed at WrestleMania 31 for the IC title, but failed to win. He also had a rivalry with Dean Ambrose, which he likewise lost. Things didn't really pick up till he got back with Bray Wyatt, and eventually the rest of the Wyatt family. The remainder of 2015 went alright for Luke, but in early 2016, he'd be sidelined with a knee injury. When he returned, Harper was once again back with Bray Wyatt, as well as Randy Orton. The group would win the SmackDown Tag Team titles at the 2016 TLC pay-per-view, only to lose them 23 days later. Tension soon began to build in the group, and Luke Harper ultimately left the Wyatt family, turning face for the first time as a result. Following this, Harper would suffer losses from both Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt in singles matches. After WrestleMania 33 though, he would defeat a returning Eric Rowan at Backlash. From here, Luke Harper's career started to become kind of quiet, until he completely disappeared midway through 2017. But things turned around in November when he returned with Eric Rowan, now as allies again. Only this time, there's no Bray Wyatt in sight. Instead, they went by the name the Bludgeon Brothers, and did pretty well. They destroyed many of the tag teams put before them, and it all built up to them winning the SmackDown Tag Team titles at WrestleMania 34. Unlike his two previous championship reigns, Harper and his fellow Bludgeon Brother would hold the belts through SummerSlam, ultimately losing them on the August 21st episode of SmackDown. After their championship run was over, Rowan was put on the shelf due to injury, and Harper took the opportunity to undergo wrist surgery. He returned during the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal at WrestleMania 35, and also performed on the Worlds Collide special. Shortly after this, it was reported that Luke Harper had requested his release from WWE, but was denied. We wouldn't see the former Bludgeon Brother until September of 2019, when he returned to help out Eric Rowan. The two briefly reunited their tag team, but were separated not long after, due to the draft. Luke Harper remained on SmackDown, while his partner was moved to Raw. It ended up not really mattering, as Luke Harper would have his final match shortly thereafter, which, ironically, took place on Halloween of 2019 at Crown Jewel. During the kickoff show for WWE's 4th Saudi Arabia event, a 20-man battle royal was held, with the winner becoming the #1 contender for the US Championship. Luke Harper was amongst the cluster of wrestlers looking to earn an opportunity at the red, white, and blue title. To gain an advantage, he worked alongside his former ally, Eric Rowan, and together they went after Sunil Singh. Only a few seconds into their attack, and Harper changed his attention to Heath Slater, and shortly after that, he changed his target to Brian Kendrick. Eventually, Eric Rowan came over to help Harper take out the cruiserweight. They were doing a pretty good job, but then just kind of stopped halfway through and split up again. Harper spent a short time with Cedric Alexander before moving on to Eric Young. EY proved to be difficult, and actually wore down Luke Harper. Even after the former TNA star left him, Harper was then attacked by R-Truth. Once he had some time to recover, Luke Harper came to the aid of Eric Rowan by throwing both Brian Kendrick and Eric Young for the top rope. With 2 eliminations under his belt, Luke Harper focused on another cruiserweight, Akira Tozawa. Like before, Harper just kind of gave up with Tozawa and moved on to Apollo Crews, Shelton Benjamin, and No Way Jose. The Bludgeon Brothers reunited for about 10 seconds as they tried to eliminate Cedric Alexander, but like before, they just stopped trying and Harper focused on Akira Tozawa again. After an ad break, Harper and Rowan went to the center of the ring and stared each other down. No Way Jose interrupted with some dancing, which Harper responded to with a discus clothesline, followed by Rowan throwing the man over the top rope. The former Wyatt members locked eyes a second time, but were once again interrupted, this time by Akira Tozawa. Eric Rowan grabbed the Japanese wrestler and set him on top of a turnbuckle, allowing Harper to superkick the 205 Live star out of the ring. Cedric Alexander was the next to feel the wrath of the former Bludgeon Brothers, followed by Apollo Crews. The Backwoods Brawler then laid low for a little while, and got back into the action when the number of bodies in the ring had decreased. He focused his energy on a hurt Cedric Alexander as the crowd started chanting, "Let's go Harper."
It sounds like the WWE Universe here in Riyadh are rallying behind Luke Harper.
Once again, Rowan and Harper got together and ultimately eliminated the Queen City's favorite son, leaving only them and Alberto Carrillo. Harper and Rowan almost broke out into a fight, but an attack by Carrillo got them back on the same page. Once the luchador was down, Eric Rowan directed Luke Harper to eliminate Humberto. Harper then went to do just that, but was double-crossed by his former tag team partner, who in turn was quickly eliminated by Carrillo, and thus the match came to an end. I'm assuming nobody knew this was going to be Luke Harper's final WWE match, so with that in mind, I think they did a pretty good job. It was very fitting that Luke Harper would work with Eric Rowan in his last appearance, since they have so much history together. One issue I had though was that they would start working together and then just walk away from each other. It wouldn't be so bad, but they have that stare off towards the end, which is odd because they'd just been working together multiple times. Besides that, I thought it was good. I like too that Luke Harper did a lot in the match. It wasn't just another body solely there to fill up the ring. Could Harper's final match have been better? Yes, but it could have also been way more underwhelming, so I'm content with this being the way he leaves WWE. On that note, Luke Harper would appear at a few untelevised events in November, but wasn't seen on TV at all. Finally, on December 8th, he was officially released from the company and is currently under a 90-day no-compete clause, which will expire in March of 2020. While I wouldn't say Luke Harper's WWE run was terrible, it certainly had its bumps. It seemed like he was never able to break away from the Wyatt family. Even when he was a part of the Bludgeon Brothers, he was still tagging with Eric Rowan. With that said, he seemed to do alright when he was a part of a group. The Wyatt family was a really cool faction, and Luke Harper played his role perfectly. Same thing with the Bludgeon Brothers. I think the group won as well as it did, because it played to his strengths. While I was working on this video, I actually found the man behind the character more interesting. WWE did a great mini documentary on the guy, so if you want to learn more about Luke Harper, check out the video on the left. Or if you want to watch more videos in this series, hit the video on the right. With that, I'm Zach from Tap Out Corner, and that was Bell to Bell.